Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started, one story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link.
Before you get it, baby, show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine. I'll show you mine. Boy, I'm standing right here holding up a sign, shamelessly displaying my state of mind. You walk right past me, pretending like you don't see what's yours for the taking tonight.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm changing it up today. I don't have my luxurious purple robe on. It's back there. I am wearing the knockoff Versace today. Now, it is not real. Please, I would not waste that kind of money on a robe. I'm just saying I can do a lot better with that blessing. But I'm wearing it. It's my version of dressing up for a special occasion. And today's show, well, every day's show, the show of life, is a special occasion. Can I get an amen? But today's even more special than usual because somebody y'all are going to love. That's what I love about this job the most. I love introducing people I love to other people I love. And that's what's happening here today because DIANN ALEXANDER is in all the way getting up with the crack of dawn out in the San Diego area as we continue with the RPXP experience. The takeover is what they're calling it because they're here, been here all last week, started with Evan Galliano. And you guys remember him, the director, the film director. I don't like the way this positive state hat makes my head. It looks too eggish. maybe I'm just because yesterday had such a good time with Rebecca. She was the sovereign queen, and I wouldn't put my little king crown on. Maybe I'm missing it. I'm just not feeling. Hold on. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm gonna wear my trick or treat hair, which is last night when the kids came. I had this on, and they really thought it was really my hair. So don't be surprised if you see me somewhere soon on a stage and I'm wearing this. If I can find an outfit to go with it. I'm kidding. I'm happy as I am. Are you? Put in the comments, say yes, amen. I'm happy. There, I'll kick things off. There's the first amen of the day. So listen, before we get Diane in here, I want to tell you guys about something. It's not just because he coaches with me. The moment I met this guy, actually, he was on the show. Robert A. Lane is who I'm talking about. He is an audiobook coach. And when I was like, what? When I was like, oh my goodness, I know so many people who have a nonfiction piece of work, myself included, who we've written it. Okay, we got that #1 status, which we all know how that happens. Let's just keep it real. Okay, you have the launch and everybody buys it for 99 cents, blah, blah, blah. And then we get a little sticker and we get to say #1. But we had bigger dreams. We wanted it to reach this healing, these blessings, all the things that we poured into this work to reach as many people as possible. And so I thought, I listen mainly to Audible. I'm keeping it real. I can devour content when I get it through Audible. When it's sitting down and reading, unlike my husband who reads about 5 books a month, not me. My ADHD just won't go there. So Robert is doing a masterclass. Okay, we've been working on it as his coach. We've been working on this masterclass for months, and it is coming up on 11/11, and it is completely free. It's a 90-minute masterclass about how an audiobook can change your everything. Here's a little bit to look at, and I'm going to give you the link for the free tickets on Eventbrite. If you don't think this is a good fit for you, or you don't need it yet, or you haven't written a book yet, or you're going to, whatever, I'm giving it to you because if it's not for you, I guarantee you it's for someone you know. It's that good. Okay, so here we go. Take a look, and then we're going to get, when we come back from this, she's here, DIANN ALEXANDER. Don't go anywhere. Share the broadcast out.
You know what's the greatest benefit of having an audiobook coach? Aside from showing you how to set up your recording space, teaching you how to do an awesome voiceover and narration, and showing you marketing techniques for your audiobook, it's support and accountability. Your coach is your support system, there for you to answer any questions throughout the process. And your coach is your accountability partner to make sure you get the job done.
Thank you, Robert A. Lane. So listen, for real, it's coming up 11/11. You got enough time to plan around it. Show up. You're going to hear some things. You're going to see some things. You're going to go, ooh, okay, I get it. I promise you, I'm going to be there and can't wait for you. So listen, DIANN ALEXANDER. So I'm not going to read her bio when I can do this, okay? It is a disservice for me to just try to read her bio. So what I'm going to do is I have her, if I can figure it out. You guys know how non-techy I am. I almost said tacky. Oh, that's funny. So listen, look at her website, you guys. It speaks volumes. Seriously. DIANN ALEXANDER, there she is. She's very ethereal. It's just, this is so perfect. Now, let me say something. I've been in music all my life. Seriously, up with people, I was almost on Fame when I was in high school, the TV show Fame. I was like in the last round, and they replaced me with a female character. I know. Well, I mean, the role we were trying out for. And so, anyway, a lot of that stuff in my background, and you know that about me. But when I look at this woman, that presence, she has a command presence. That's what you're looking. Let me show you. Are you guys looking at it? Okay, yeah, there. See what I'm saying? And so she is a confidence catalyst. That's how she leads when she said, well, who are you? What do you do, DIANN ALEXANDER, to ease some suffering in the world? This is her doorway, right? But in there, she's got all this. Wait till you hear the bowls and all that today. So anyway, I'm going to leave that up just for a second because I love this picture and I want to talk to her about it. But here she comes. Put some hearts on the screen. DIANN ALEXANDER. Morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm terrific. How are you?
I'm awesome.
I love the hair.
I love your website.
Thank you.
That picture is incredible. You know what you do. You know what you do. When you say that performance piece, and we're going to talk about stage fright today, you guys, if you are a person who has dealt with stage fright or deal with it, DIANN, welcome to the show. I'm so happy you're here. How you been since last?
Thank you. Oh, I'm so delighted to see you again. It's been going and going and going. I'm having a ball. It's
Yes.
every day there's a new page opening up and turning up. We're saying, what's this going to be today? Let's go.
Yes. Now you and I we met for the very first time at the RPXP experience out in San Diego. And here's what we bonded around, I'm sure first, even if it was just subconsciously. We were the two elders. Let's put it that way. We were the two elders, pretty much. Pretty much. There were some people close to our age, but I think we
topped the chart.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely.
And we even talked about it. We even talked about it. Remember that out by the pool?
I do.
With the yoga girl who's going to be here. So anyway, tell us what were you there for at the RPXP experience? Did you know when you went, or did you find out after you got there?
No, this was one of those things where you life just kind of puts someone in your path. I was recording a talk for Action Talks, which is like a TEDx sort of thing, but it goes on Action Talk TV, which is going to be launching soon. And I will be having my own branded app. So this was the big talk that starts the whole thing off. And when we were talking, there are other speakers there. And John got up to speak, and I was blown away.
John Block. She means John
amazing.
Block. For those who may not know, I'm assuming you're talking about John Block.
Our John Block.
Our John Block. Okay, John Block. Keep going.
And so when I heard him speak, and it was a small room, and we were the very first group of people to speak. There was a seat that you could see behind the camera where the head was in it. And he immediately slid into that because he's a speaker coach. And I went, oh, I know I have to talk to him. And then he spoke with such clarity and such conviction and such purpose. So of course we sat next to each other at lunch and went blah, 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 blah. And we said, I don't know what we have to do together, but we have something to do together. And so I ended up at Red Pill where I met you and so many wonderful people. I really didn't know anyone else going in, but it's just like you said, following the page. What's it going to present today?
Exactly. I knew I knew Martha. I knew Martha. Who else? I think that's it. Yeah, that was it. And Dr. Monsi and John. And I had just met them a couple weeks earlier here in Chicago when they were here for Martha's event.
Well, it's funny. I did run into them when I first met them. We were at a big networking event.
Yeah, well, they get around that San Diego area.
Yeah, Masterminds to Millions or something. And we ended up having to sit at the same table, and it was so much fun. They were just delightful. And I'm going, oh my gosh, this is amazing. There's just something there. At the time, I didn't know what the connection would be, but here we are.
Here we are.
Yep.
So let's talk about and you have it on the screen next to your name. So you absolutely mean this thing about confidence catalyst. Explain what that terminology stands for from where you sit.
Well, From where I sit, I've been teaching singing and voice and music directing for over 50 years. And from where I sit there, part of my job is to help people both find their authentic confidence. Who are they? What it is that they want to bring out. And when the pandemic hit, I've been teaching voice all this time in person. All of a sudden, we couldn't do it the same way because there's a big sound lag. I could no longer play piano or sing with them. So we had this whole online business. Well, that's another whole ball of wax, as your entrepreneur friends will know. And so coming up with something else is like, what do I do that I can bring a lot of people that I don't have to play piano with them right there at the time? And it's confidence, because I grew up so nervous. I was in the background, always in the background. I didn't go in the front ground. I was in the background.
Mm,
Do you want me to tell that little story?
sure.
Okay. So I was fine hiding in the background all of my life because in my growing up, it was a little bit volatile. So my MO was to stay small, just be quiet, be the perfect daughter, be the perfect student, be all that.
Because you were pretty much a gray existence.
Oh my goodness. That's a bright color for what it felt like. But
Oh, wow.
so
That was pretty profound right
yeah,
there.
oh boy.
Seriously, wait a minute. Stop for a second.
Okay.
So, I mean, because I was perfectly willing to just barrel through that intersection. But when you just said what you said about gray being a bright color compared to the actual situation, that warrants stopping and talking about that. What exactly did you mean by that?
Well, for me, that's so far in the past, and it got me where I was going. But when you know this, when you live your life in fear all the time, it's just like you're in survival mode. And it doesn't really matter what the cause of the fear is, whether it's a not pleasant situation
Yeah.
where you're at, it really doesn't matter. When you're dealing with that level of fear, you can't hook into your creativity. You can't hook in really. I was not able to hook into anything spiritual. I did find a little home in my neighbor's basement playing their piano. That was kind of what, and outside in the woods, I was a woodland girl, playing in the raspberry bushes behind the neighbor's house. But it's that piece really was the catalyst to, at that point in my life, I was still trying to make it work, trying to be the good daughter, trying to be happy enough, trying to be bright enough, trying to do all the things. But in this situation, it was so volatile and it was never going to be even. It was
So
never
were you
going to
shrinking? Diane, help me understand. Were you
be.
shrinking or were you a people pleaser? Which one of those was the primary shade? Would you
Well,
say?
it really was both, because when I was in a public situation, I'd be
Sounds
very
like
quiet and withdrawn. And for the parents, I try and please and be the good student.
Yeah.
So,
So, okay, because I'm always so interested in it's like I see this journey like you would the long jump.
mhm.
The person goes like this and
Oh,
then they take off running, hit the thing and jump all the way across as far as they can and
yeah.
land and then fall forward. And so I'm always interested in with that jumping off spot, because you're trying to hit that mark and it's
Mhm.
the thing that led us to who we are.
Right.
And oftentimes they were some of the deepest wounds, or so we thought. But I tell people all the time, from where we stand today, don't cry for me, Argentina. How bad could it have been? It led me here to you, right? So what did it feel like for you? Take us to that moment. I have a feeling you have a story for
I
this one.
do.
When you went from that and you parted the veil and you stepped through that curtain, if you will, from what was into what is,
Mhm.
because it might.
You just froze for me. Did I freeze for you?
Oh,
There, you're back. Maybe.
okay, there we go. So if it freezes me, you just start talking.
All right. I shall do that. So my life changed one day in college,
Okay, there
outside
you go.
opera workshop class. I was waiting for my girlfriend. We carpooled together. She had the best voice in the whole department. And I was the person who arranged the music, who wrote the music, who was helping the rehearsals. I was the behind the scenes person. And the door creaked open, and this professor stuck his head out, and he said, we're short a singer. You're in my theory class. Come in here and sight read this. And then he said, nice voice. Take the class. And I went, yeah, somebody wants to be in the back, does not want to be front on stage singing opera in front of everybody. But he was also the head of the department. So what are you going to do? You're going to say no? So that kind of started my journey. And he said, by the way, you need voice lessons. Well, the strike heart, if public speaking is the number one fear, I think that singing in front of people is off the charts unless you were born to do it. Those people who were born to sing don't have this, but those of us who didn't have that, it was kind of like, And the worst part was at the end of the semester, they had these horrific things called juries. And that's where you have to sing for a grade in front of the faculty.
Right.
And for some reason, they thought I belonged in the public jury, which meant the entire faculty of the music department and their friends and the entire student body. It was just, oh my gosh, I can't even remember it. The day for the jury came, and I remember clutching my music as tightly as I could and shuffling down this long center aisle of a very long room with people on both sides to the grand piano way in the end. And somehow, by the grace of God, I was able to give my music to the accompanist without dropping it. And so he was fine with that. And you know how the piano has that big hook in it? I kind of
you mean a baby grand?
The baby grand, right. So I kind of slid around with my back into the corner so I wouldn't fall down because my knees were shaking so badly. And the big bar across the top of the piano, I white knuckled that baby because I knew I was going down. I was so nervous. My mom said she could see my knee rocking from the back of the room.
Yes.
And all of these things flooded through my head. It's like, oh my gosh, what if they find out I don't know what I'm doing? What if they find out that I'm going to let everybody down? What if they find out I really don't know this and that they're going to kick me out? The things that you say.
Okay, stop right there for a second.
Yeah.
Everybody out there listening. Now, we're hearing the story, and this is she's performing in front of people. But how familiar did what she just say sound to something within our own everyday lives? I think most of us say some part of what you just said every day of our lives. We do. Whether we say it out loud or we say it to ourselves, we go through that same litany and sometimes even more of, well, what if, and this, and oh my God, what if they find out, what if I'm exposed for the fraud I am, all of that. So this is why I want everybody to tune in, time to ring the bell. This means we're at one of those junctures I don't want you to miss. Continue, DIANN Alexander, continue.
I shall. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so in that moment, with all of these fears flashing in front of your head, you're not in the moment. You're not doing your music. You're not doing anything else. And it was just so completely debilitating. I don't remember a lot more about that jury, but what I do remember is that I never wanted to feel that way again.
Well, how did you end up performing, though?
Well,
how'd that go?
Because the head of the department asked me to do it. I'm the good girl, right? I do what I'm asked to do.
Yeah.
So we get up there, and it got a little easier when, I mostly had at those points the smaller roles. And when you have a character, it's a little bit easier to be someone else. I think the most vulnerable thing is just to be yourself.
But what happened with you? With you that day? How did it turn out? You got us some pins and needles, girl.
How did it turn out? Oh, well,
yeah.
I got through it. I got a good grade and so forth. But for me, the emotional overwhelm was so much bigger than the good grade and everything else. It was like, what do I have? Do I have to go through this everything? Every single time I'm going to have to be in front of somebody. I mean, that was the pivoting point. I've got to find a way to get around this because clearly they think that I'm doing a good job with it. Clearly, on some level, when I'm lost in the music, it's so rewarding. There's no place I'd rather be than in the middle of whatever music it is that I'm doing.
Correct.
And so that piece with the love of that and the outside feedback for the first time in a way that I could accept it, that I must be doing something right. So some of those things that I had to say about myself weren't necessarily correct.
I
But
get
it's
it.
not. How
Now,
do you? Go ahead.
here's why I'm pushing. Here's why I'm pushing. Let
Yeah,
me just be
go for
clear
it.
about that. Because I don't believe that anything I know as a performer, and I've heard many performers say this. I remember I actually heard it come out of Gladys Knight's mouth on an interview with Oprah about this thing, stage fright. I don't ever want to be completely devoid of the awareness of it, because it, as a performer, and I mean that in anything you consider getting on stage where you have a responsibility to deliver value. Okay. You need something so that you have a reason to lean on something greater than just yourself. And stage fright is one of those bridges that can take you there. So as creatives, I think that's a very important piece. Again, one of those junctures that warrants us leaning in and tuning into and listening to. Connect these dots today, you guys. Connect these dots. And I say that, Diane, because, it's very easy for a person who does what you do to for people to think, oh, I have to be completely devoid. I think, like when we say fearless, we don't ever want to be, we will never be completely devoid of fear, but we are instructed to still jump and grow our wings on the way down and fear a little less every time we accomplish something or push ourselves. So let's talk about this thing called stage fright and how people can use it to learn more about who they truly are, because there are tells in stage fright. What you do with I've seen people that jump up and down when they're listening to their music. I've seen them doing this. I've seen somebody's leg, they're sitting down and their legs going like this. All the warm-ups, and come on now, right? But people find a way to get themselves into game mode. Can you talk about that? How you help people? Give us some tips, Diane, about how to use this confidence when we need it.
Well, understanding what stage fright does to us first is going to help understand why the tips work. And so when we get into fight and flight is when the subconscious, when your functioning brain, it feels in danger. And it doesn't matter if it's a real bear behind you, or you're worried someone's going to criticize you, or you're afraid you're going to forget you. It doesn't matter what the bear is. It triggers that fight and flight response because it's trying to protect you. The first thing it does is tighten your neck. Then it shuts down your breathing and puts all the energy to your arms and legs so that you can run away, so that you can fight, so that you can freeze and hope no one sees me. And those responses first start physically. And what I found in college is that people always try and handle stage fright mentally. Well, if you're scared for your life, or your subconscious appears so, you're not thinking about anything except getting out of Dodge or handling the situation. So if we can go to the physical aspect of it, which was in the neck to start with, then we can kind of unwind that process. So then you can get to the place where you think. When you're afraid if you're going to be in trouble, or someone's going to kick you out of the department or something, or there's a bear behind you, you're not going to be thinking about all these happy thoughts and whatnot. So here's my little hack. And I have physical, mental, energetic, which I hope we get to talk about, emotional, and sonic. So tighten your neck as tight as you can. Try and inhale. It's hard. Now, bobble your neck. Inhale. A little easier. Take your hands, put them on your low belly. Bobble your neck. Inhale. Easier still. One more. Loosen your neck. Inhale through your nose, hands on the belly. Hold it a couple seconds, and better still. Congratulations, you have activated your sympathetic nervous system. So in just a few moments, now you can think. And you might not want to imagine them in their underwear, but you can get into your other mental things that work for you. That's the first of many.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. So let me ask you, because a lot of people, we all know that public speaking, let's use that for an example, because
Yep.
I mean, that ties into what most of us do, no matter what we do. We have to speak, we have to communicate, and we need confidence to do that. Instead of shrinking, you might have the answer to the equation. You might have the syllable that goes with another syllable that creates a new meaning to an everyday word. But you can't show up unless you show up. So what I'm asking now is, do you have any tips for people to test themselves? Like, how are there warning signs in everyday life? Like, your heart starts changing, the pace of the pulse, or you're afraid you're gonna, like in school, when you were afraid you were gonna get called on. Don't say my name. Please don't ask me. Please don't ask me. When the teacher is gonna ask somebody. I used to freak out, and I was a social butterfly kid, running around and, getting put in the hall all the time because I'd finish my work before everybody and then I'd entertain. Right. But I would still be fearful when it was serious work from the board and all eyes are going to be on you. So what do you suggest people do so that they start learning what their particular ticks or tells are for how to channel that energy? Because isn't it just, they say it's nervous energy. So how do you channel it into productive nervous energy?
So you just did the bridge I was hoping you were going to do. What
I heard you said energetic.
You did hear it. You heard me. You heard me. Energy. Everything is energy. I know you talk about this as well. Everything is energy, from your densest lead to your bones, to your blood, to your breath, to your thoughts. Everything is energy. When you walk into a room, you can tell how somebody feels across the room. If someone's in a great mood, you kind of want to go over there. If someone's coming in going, oh, woe is me, kind of want to go in the other direction. And how do you know? You feel it. So the first step is realizing that your energy, you have a particular signature vibration, and you have to figure out what that is. And part of that first starts by listening to what's going on. And it's like the awareness tip that I just gave you with the breathing. That starts with, okay, notice, where are you tight? Where do you figure what that is? And I always say, start physically first, loosen that up and get the breath. Get those two things going so that you can open up the trap door back to the brain, because the brain shuts off when you're nervous. And this self-awareness is really a key. It's like I like to start my workshops with, how does stage fright affect you? Where is it? Do you get dry mouth? Does your neck go tight? Do your knees shake? What happens to you? And once you get a specific feeling, then you can start looking for it. And I have a little troubleshooter, which is, what do you want to do? Well, I want to be loose and confident on stage. What are you doing? Well, I'm all tight and in a knot. Okay. What's the opposite of number two? Do that. And it really makes sense, because if you're feeling like, oh God, they're going to call on me, and you're all tight in a knot, okay, I'm going to loosen my neck. I'm going to straighten my spine. I'm going to breathe deep. I'm going to get the energy moving. Because how do we move our energy? It's with the breath. That life source is in the breath.
Yeah.
And so those things to loosen the body and get the breath moving, that's really the first place to go. And there's a whole bunch more things that you can do. And there's a thing that I like to teach people to do to play with their energy, which is a theater game. You want to hear this one? This is fun.
Yeah. Can I say something before you do it?
Yes.
Though? Do you realize you sing when you talk?
Yes.
You did it. Did you guys catch it? I did too, earlier. And you're like, and then you're just like, you were just talking, and all of a sudden you sang like half a word and came back in. You did like 2 or 3 times. I was like, wow, it is very exciting, right?
Thank you.
I'm like, what a great teacher. You're a great teacher. I also know this because I was sitting here and I was like, man, I bet you just do miracles with kids, because you just you describe all of this power that is available like it's inside of Disneyland or something. And I really love it. Let's go to the bowls. Tell everybody about why you do that, what it's called, because I've seen it and all that, but not like I did at the RPXP. Because there were, you and Christia both had them, and talk about how you got into that.
Well, the one trick I want to give people first, like tossing with the energy, is a little exercise because it's a way to practice knowing you have energy and
Okay.
practice learning that you can control it. And then I love my bowls. I can't wait to talk about those. So
Oh, she's
if
serious about those bowls, y'all.
oh
Because at
yeah,
the event,
oh
my
yeah.
little MC table was right where her bowls were on it. She was like,
Touch 'em.
you
Don't
have you
touch my
ever,
balls.
no, wait. If you ever like messed near a nest, right? And the bird who has the eggs and nest comes swooping in. I was like, whoa, I felt like
Yeah,
Tippi Hedren. I'm
yeah.
not kidding. But I tell you what, I learned that, boy, she fiercely protects those bowls. And I didn't know anything about them. And it wasn't because of just the value, which you did make sure people knew, because if you break it, you're buying it. But the way you protect them like they were.
Well, they are like live beings. The energy I will definitely well, we can go in any order. We can go in any order.
No, you go. I just wanted to throw that in there, though,
No,
because
it's true. It's true. It's true.
I
That
think it's wonderful, because you must fiercely protect those things you know the power of, that you understand. So tell us
Mhm.
about these bowls, and what are they going to do with us, for us, through us here today, or what's possible?
Well, the bowls are made of like 99% quartz crystal, and oddly, most of it mined in North Carolina. And the ones I play are alchemy
Really?
crystal singing bowls. Yep, are alchemy crystal singing bowls, and they have different elements in it. It's for instance, this one has 7 different elements in it that cause it to have a different energy. The different sizes give them a different pitch. For those of
Okay.
your people who I'm pretty sure are probably into the energy centers of the body, the chakras and whatnot, every energy in the center in the body has a color and a pitch and a tone. So if you're like a music person singing your scales up and down on all the vowels, you're giving yourself an energetic tune-up, whether you realize it or not, because we emit frequencies and we are affected by frequencies. And if you think about it, quartz has been used for decades. Crystals have been used for decades in electronics because of their really even vibration. Well, we're mostly crystalline too. We're mostly water. So when we have a day when
We
energetic,
who?
pardon?
Us? People?
Of course, you're mostly water. Water is crystalline.
Oh,
And with the crystalline structures, this affects the sound
okay.
affects them. It's a whole nother
Is
rabbit
that
hole.
why we're called vessels?
Well, that's one of the reasons. That's an
Okay.
energetic vessel.
Energetic vessel. Can I
Yes.
ask? So where are these bowls manufactured? You
Well,
said what's this North Carolina connection, real quick?
well, that's the source of the crystal, and these particular ones are by Crystal Tones out of Utah, and they
Okay.
make probably the finest ones because there's all different kinds of alchemies that you can see in them.
So
different-
how do they know what they're creating?
Lots of times they don't. You can't create 2 of the same. They come out individual, like pieces of art.
Each one
And they're
is unique.
Pardon?
No two sound the same. No
No
two
2
sound the
sound the
same.
same. Nope, no 2 sound the same.
Oh, okay. Keep going. I'm
Yes.
I'm dying to hear something. Like she's gonna do a concert.
Well, I can do all kinds of stuff with that.
Do something. Do you have a blessing or something you can do with those bowls?
Sure. I can. You know what I can do is I can do a breath exercise along with the bowls. That would be really fun. The thing with the bowls is what I invite people to do is just to kind of take notice of how you're feeling right now. Do you have a tight neck? Is your breath a little tight? Is your brain a little funny?
Okay.
Your thoughts wandering? Are you here? And just notice how you feel later. Because when we get wonky and the body gets in proximity to these very beautiful, even vibrations, it goes, I want that. Because it evens us out. Our body entrains to the evenness of the vibration.
Is it like hugging it feels like it would be, in my mind, I just saw like hugging a tuning fork.
Maybe.
Like if it were a giant, because of the vibration.
Yeah.
It feels like, don't you want to blend with it somehow?
Oh, yes. What I'm going to do is tell your readers, your listeners, not to think, but just feel. Because
right.
this is in the moment when we get nervous and whatnot. We have to stop and open up and feel what's going on, because how can you do anything else if you don't know where you are? And if you're not acknowledging, well, this is tighter, this is tighter, I'm nervousing, you can't paint over panic. You just can't do it. It's very
nice one.
short-lived. You can't
paint over panic.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like it's a great way to see how much gas is in your tank.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Absolutely.
I'm ready for some. Let's go.
All righty. Shall I turn this a little bit? Hopefully I
Yeah, do
won't
what
make
you got to do. It's all you.
make you too seasick here, but here are just a few. On that wall, I have like 35.
And you tell me when you want me to come back in. I'm going to stay out until you know, do your thing.
All right. So I would invite you all to take a nice breath from overhead through your nose, deep into your low belly, and let it expand and really become wide, and hold it for a few seconds. And then exhale down through your legs, through your feet, deep into Mother Earth. And then inhale up from your legs, right deep into your belly. Let it get wide. Let it feel good. And then exhale up through your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, out through your beautiful brain, up overhead. And keep your breathing slow and just notice where it feels. It might hit you in a place, it might not. There's no right, there's no wrong. There's just the experience.
Ooh, very nice. Thank you so much. I
What
received
did you
it.
notice? Tell me what you noticed.
Okay, first thing I'm going to say is, first of all, I was watching, I was like, huh, is she like freestyling? You know, like a rapper that just says, let me just flow. You know, or did she learn that from some kind of bowl sheet music or something?
Yep.
So how do you know what tone because it feels like it's a form of a language, but it doesn't have words, and it's open to interpretation, and it meets you where you're at. That's what I got from it.
You're spot on, 100% spot on. It bypasses the busy monkey brain and gets right into our spiritual energetic body and starts to even that out, to calm it down. And I have grounding bowls, I have expansion bowls, but this one to me kind of lets you
I'm
lift
gonna
up.
tell you what. Now let me tell you about the physical thing, or what
Okay.
I'm considering it's physical, but you know how if you bump your funny bone, or the tips of your fingers got cold and they're coming back to warmth, that tingle thing.
Yeah.
I can feel that moving like on the out. It almost feels like a spiritual freon.
It is.
Right? I'm serious. I
It is.
literally feel something.
Everything is energy. Everything is a vibration. And these, in the way that you feel it, in the place that you feel it, or the places you need to feel it. I just am the energy, the conduit. I feel the people. I feel the audience. I feel you. I feel me. I feel them. And it's like we have a conversation. All of the energy, we kind of dance with the energy and see what feels right in the moment.
Okay.
Sometimes there's, sorry.
So how do we learn what? So I always know, because I love these kind of questions, because especially when I'm discovering something about myself, like right now in this moment. So because I feel it where I feel it in my fingers and going down the backs of my arms, like from my shoulder blades, does that mean something? Does that, because everything serves like a clue. You see what I mean? So what is that telling me? Is there a way for me to know why is it there and not my knees? Why is it there and not my earlobes?
Yes.
So that, because I have a feeling it will move around this thing.
It will move around, and also depending on the pitches, depending on how it's played, it will move in different places. It's the wisdom of your body, of your soul, that takes that vibration and puts it where you need it at the
Where you
moment.
need it.
And the less we try and control it with the mind, the better it can do more work, because the mind gets in the way, because the mind is in the 3D. The mind stays in 3D, and this is past 3D. This is out in those
Yes.
other dimensions that
Got
get
it.
more done.
Got it. So instead of me trusting, I get it. What you're telling me is, no, Lauren, you don't need to go to an index to get some description or definition of what it means.
Mhm,
Its presence
mhm,
is the meaning.
mhm.
Just, okay, got it. Or
Yep,
getting it. I should say
yep.
getting it. I love this. So, okay. So let me ask you this, because you just saw the lights come on in this house.
Love that.
Seriously. It's true. I sat next to those things all 4 days.
Mhm,
I sat right next to those things and did not know what I know right now because I did not experience them. And I wasn't in the room the night of the cacao
mhm.
thing. Right.
Yeah.
So this was really my first experience.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Right there. And it translates through. I wasn't in person with you. I find that very interesting. Well, because frequency is, like you said, when we don't put the fences. So let's talk about what's at the website. When people go there, because you talk about some of the other things you help people with, some of the ways that you ease suffering through these gifts of yours, Diane, because we want people to know what they can go to the website and find,
Well, mostly we are redoing the website so that it's going to connect to this beautiful app where I can be putting in more information on a more regular basis. But there is a free meditation, which is the sound bowls. If they fill in that little place, they can get the free meditation, and they can always email me. Just remember that Diane doesn't have an E. It's DIANN at
Yeah.
DianneAlexander.com. And I'm happy to answer questions or to get you on the list to let you know what else is going on. You asked me something else and I think I missed it.
No, you didn't miss anything.
Okay.
Well, because you do a couple other things. What about do you work with people to help them get outside of their comfort zone, or how to deal and get that stage fright in check?
Oh, I do. I have a 6 weeks on-stage confidence, 6 weeks, go from nervous to noteworthy. There's a course. We have an ongoing group that we work with things. I do
Okay.
individual coaching with it. And I just wanted, it seems really important in the shower, this kind of came to me. I always say each individual matters, but do you remember that story where the grandfather was walking on the beach with his grandson? There was all kinds of starfish that had washed up, and
Mhm.
the grandson was taking the starfish and throwing it back into the ocean. And the grandfather said, "Why are you bothering? It's never going to make any difference. There's so many of them." And the grandson said, "It does to this one." And it's like
Mm.
everything that we do,
Oh,
we feel on a big level, what can I do?
yeah.
There's so much going on. What can we do? But every little thing you say, and maybe it's just to the person who's checking your groceries out at the store, you never know the impact you're going to make. And if you feel like, oh, no one's going to want to hear what I have to say. Oh, yeah, if you feel you have to say it, it does make a difference. Maybe that one little starfish you talk to, it makes a big difference to them. You might save their life with what you have to say. So
Mhm.
I want to encourage everybody. Everybody has their special gift in their special way to do things. And if you feel called to write your book or get on stage or talk about something that you have overcome that's huge, it's
Yeah.
because somebody else needs to hear it and they're waiting for you to get out on stage. And when you work with and are brave enough
Right.
and are motivated and inspired enough to want to, okay, let's take on and transform this stage fear into something else. That's a big gateway into the next level of being able to contribute to our world and help raise the vibrations up. And, in all transparency, sometimes I still get nervous, depending on what I'm
Oh,
doing,
yeah.
depending on who's there. It's never totally there, but now I have the tools to know how to deal with it and how to kind of like Aikido. Aikido is that kind of karate where you don't fight it. You just kind of take the energy and you transpose it into something else. It's just like, no, you're going over there. And so there isn't damage done, but the energy is turned around. We learn how to do that with ourselves. And sometimes that energy, if you think about it, scared is an intense energy with a lot of energy running around. Excited is an intense energy with a lot of energy running around. It's just how you're thinking about it differently. So why can't we go
Energy.
scare-sighted? Scare-sighted, because it's the same thing. Not try and stop the scared, but
Yeah.
aikido the scared into an excited feeling, which is a similar vibration, which is an easier step over. And
Like,
finally, you're just into excited.
well, and it feels just like how you harness air or water to create energy,
Mhm.
like with a windmill or one of those water wheel things,
Mhm.
putting something in place so that you can harness the energy.
Yeah.
It's going to keep moving anyway. So why not find a way to generate more power, more energy? And every time you implement that, like on a farm or something, it's so that you can grow the property, so
Mhm.
that it sustains the property. It creates the water that feeds the this. It creates the water that feeds the that. So that's why I love what you do. All hour since you've been doing this, it has been showing me all these different things. Now, let me ask you this. I gotta know this because I'm just nosy. So, do people in your family like to are people always buying you bowls for Christmas and stuff?
Oh, no, they're too expensive.
Oh, really? So it's not like a Pandora bracelet
Oh,
where they
no.
give you a charm all the time?
No.
Oh, is
No.
it a sacred thing? Like, are you drawn to buy a certain bowl?
Yeah, it's like people who are into crystals know you kind of just go and you pick them up, and the ones that are yours you can't put down. It's like that for me. And my two main people that I've worked with that have got me into this, both sell and distribute them, they allow me to bring all of my bowls so I can see which ones fit and play with the others nicely. And I did want to share with your listeners, as you were listening to the bowls and it transported you, your
Mhm.
audience does listening too. And when you are learning to listen to yourself, starting with, okay, how does stage fright get me? You open yourself to listen to what's the vibration of your audience. Because if you
Mm,
can feel, are they, restless and that kind of thing? Or
yeah.
are they really low? So do you need to come in and be either lift them up with rah, 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 or say, I'm sorry, you're not feeling good today. Let's take it gentle and pick
Oh,
whatever
right. That's
whatever it
why
is
shows have warm up people
that lots of times they do. And
to get
when
the
you're
energy
in
up.
Mhm. And if you're in a one-on-one situation or a speech situation, it's like every time I play the bowls, it's completely different. I never play them the same. And when I'm dealing or doing like a private sound bath for something, it's totally the energy of the person. And I can't tell unless I get quiet. I cannot project what's going on with
How you
me
just gonna throw
onto
that
them.
word out there like you're lucky I'm so on it today.
You
When you
are on
said
it.
no, when you said sound bath, I'm like, that's exactly what it felt like, but I didn't know that was a term.
Mhm.
See, you got to throw that stuff in for those who this is my first experience. So
Yeah.
that's why it felt like that. That's a
Mhm.
great description.
And that same feeling is very much what I feel when I'm listening to the audience, is I'm feeling them. So then I can take that, mix it with me, mix it with the bulls, and we co-create something, all of us together. We co-create what's happening, exactly like what we're doing with this interview, which has gone in so many awesome directions that I could never have
I
set up.
told you.
You
I
did.
told you
You're
that we
right.
wouldn't have to like lay it out, that it
Hmm.
would guide us. See, I told you.
You
And we
did.
got in we packed a lot in this
We
hour.
did. We
And
did.
that's divinity. That's divinity. Listen, so again, you guys, the best place to reach Diane is scrolling along the bottom there, DIANNALEXANDER.com. And I've already taken the liberty of dropping that link inside of your
Thank you.
comment section for easy access. So you can click right over and go and visit and say hello, wave, and say, hey, I was watching you on Bathrobe Moments. And yeah. Yeah. One other thing I want to find out. Do you work with people vocally for like
Yes.
voice lessons and things
Yes.
like that?
Yeah.
Because you have that, that alto-ish, rich, all of that. So I know
Thank
you got,
you.
yeah, you know what you're doing. So they can reach out for that as well.
Right, right. For 50 years, I've been doing it. That paper up there is about that.
There you go. Yes, yes.
So, yeah.
So there it is. I just want to say thank you so very much for all that you do and all that you've done today and all that you continue to do. What a blessing meeting you in San Diego. I'm so glad to have you in my space. I honor your work. I really do. Thank you, Diane.
Honor you too.
Thank you. So listen, you guys, I'm going to go back to being bald here in a minute, but I will be here tomorrow as the RPXP experience, the retreat, the takeover, all those things and more continues. And tomorrow, let me see, who do we have tomorrow? Who's here? Oh, Christia Ray.
I played with her. She's awesome. You're gonna
know
love her.
another. She's the other. Oh, so we might get some more bowls tomorrow.
Yeah, we played together. We played together in that cacao ceremony.
Oh, you did?
Yes, we did. She started the ceremony, did some of the meditation, and then during the long part, I took over and did the long part of the quiet, silent where there was no speaking, and then she closed it back off. It was a beautiful, beautiful experience.
I'm sure it was. That's why I was told, I got the download. They told me to leave because I had some dark energy with me. I did. I had some dark energy, and it said it was waiting because you're first. Like today was my first experience. I was baptized into the knowledge. I'm not ignorant to what is possible anymore. And so I was doing my best to honor. I was like, this is my first. If it would be just like things that don't serve me to have me just sit in here with all this muck around me and miss the beauty of this thing. And it's a once in a lifetime, once in a journey experience, because your first is always what you remember. So I thank you for this. I thank you for this today. And I thank all of you for all you do. Thank you for being here. Now,
thank you for asking.
Of course. Now, I want you guys out there, get on it, okay? Get out today and bless in the manner in which you hope to be blessed. And listen, don't forget who you are. Don't forget who you are. Get out and share your light with the world. Don't hide it. Don't hide it. Get out there. I'll see you tomorrow, God willing, on the front porch at 8 a.m. Central. So together we can create another illuminated conversation and another divine moment in time. Get out of here. And as always, I tell you, I love you. And there's not a darn thing you can do about it. See ya. Thank you, Diane. You see how I was ashamed to cuss in front of her? Okay. Bye, you guys. I love you. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out before you get it, baby? Show me your soul. And honey, I'll show you mine.